The Lakers have a LeBron James problem. When LeBron doesn't have a LeBron-type game, they're not the same team. LeBron had one of his roughest outings last night against the Thunder, and when that happens, the Lakers struggle. Big time. They've been riding high this season, especially in the NBA Cup, but this was a wake-up call. Let's break it down, because there's a lot to unpack. First, LeBron played 34 minutes and only managed 12 points. 12. That's tied for the 24th lowest scoring game of his entire career. It's not what you expect from someone who's arguably one of the greatest players in NBA history. But it wasn't just the scoring that hurt. He shot 5 for 13 from the field, missed all 4 of his three-point attempts, and only got to the free throw line twice, where he went 2 for 2. The turnovers were brutal, 5 of them. And this isn't a one-off issue either. Over the last 9 games, LeBron's been averaging over 5 turnovers per game. He's had at least 4 in every single one of those games. That's not just a blip, it's a pattern. Turnovers are momentum killers, and when they come from your star player, it's even more damaging. LeBron's shooting woes last night were another glaring issue. Missing all his threes is rough, but when your field goal percentage is below 40%, it's going to drag the team down. And that's exactly what happened. The Lakers only scored 105 points. For a team with championship aspirations, that's just not going to cut it, especially against a team like the Thunder, who lead the Western Conference. Now, they played one of their best defensive games of the season, which kept them in it, but defense can only do so much if the offense isn't holding up its end of the deal. And last night, it didn't. The offense was flat, and a lot of that falls on LeBron. This isn't to pile on LeBron, but when you're the leader of the team, everything runs through you. If he's not playing well, the Lakers don't function the way they're supposed to. He's the engine that makes the whole thing go. And when the engine sputters, the whole car slows down. What makes it even tougher is that LeBron's had this problem brewing for a while. Those turnovers I mentioned, they're becoming a real issue. You can't be averaging over 5 a game and expect to win consistently, especially in games against top-tier opponents. Turnovers lead to fast breaks, easy points for the other team, and wasted possessions for your own. The Lakers needed this win. After getting blown out by the Suns earlier this week, this game against the Thunder was a must-win, but the offense just wasn't there, and a lot of that had to do with LeBron's performance. Without him playing at a high level, their chances were slim. Let's not overlook the context here either. The Thunder are the top seed in the Western Conference. This wasn't some scrub team the Lakers were facing, but even so, the Lakers should have been better. They've shown they can compete with the best, but not when LeBron has a game like this. For a player of LeBron's caliber, nights like this are rare. That's why it stands out so much. He set such a high standard for himself that anything less than greatness feels like a shock. But last night, it wasn't just a step below his usual standard. It was one of the worst games of his career. And that's saying something for a guy who's been in the league for over 2 decades. The Lakers live and die by LeBron. When he's on, they're one of the best teams in the league. But when he's off, like he was last night, it's a struggle. The turnovers, the missed shots, the lack of offensive rhythm. It all added up to a rough night for the Lakers. If they want to be contenders this season, they need LeBron to be better. Because as last night showed, when he's not at his best, neither are they. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, LeBron. He's kind of on a rough stretch right now. LeBron James is in a bit of a rough patch right now. Over his last 8 games, he's averaging just under 20 points, over 8 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists per game. Those numbers look solid at first glance, right? Honestly, for most players in the league, they'd be standout stats. But for LeBron, the guy who's been the gold standard for nearly 2 decades, these numbers actually represent a significant dip in his usual production. And when you dig into the details, it's clear that this stretch has been one of his tougher ones in recent memory. Let's start with his shooting. Over these 8 games, LeBron is shooting 46% from the field, 28% from 3, and 67% from the free throw line. That adds up to a 53% true shooting percentage. For context, that's below his usual efficiency and well below what you'd expect from a player of his caliber. The three-point shooting, in particular, has been an issue. Hitting just 28% from deep is far below league average. And for someone like LeBron, who's shown he can knock down shots from distance when needed, it's definitely a concern. He's had games in this stretch where he just couldn't get his shot to fall, and it's been a noticeable weakness. Then there are the turnovers. This has been another big problem during this stretch. LeBron is averaging just over 5 turnovers per game across these 8 games. There have been nights where he's turned the ball over 6 or 7 times. Those are possessions the Lakers simply can't afford to lose, especially in close games where every single possession matters. It's not just the volume of turnovers either, it's the timing. Some of these mistakes have come in crunch time moments, making them even more frustrating. Turnovers have always been part of LeBron's game because of how much he handles the ball, but this stretch has been especially tough in that regard. Now here's the thing, LeBron is 39 years old and in his 21st season. Let that sink in for a moment. The fact that he's even able to average 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists at this stage of his career is absolutely remarkable. For 90% of the league, those numbers would represent the best stretch of their career. But for LeBron, they're being labeled as a slump. That just shows you how incredibly high the standard is for him. He's built this expectation over years of dominance, and anything less than excellence feels like a disappointment. It's a unique situation because most players wouldn't face this level of scrutiny for putting up these kinds of stats. The Lakers have gone 4-4 during this stretch, which isn't terrible, but also not ideal for a team with championship aspirations. What's interesting is that this is still an improvement compared to recent seasons. If LeBron had a stretch like this during the last 2 seasons, the Lakers likely would have gone 2-6 instead of 4-4. That speaks to the team's improvement overall, but it also shows how much they still rely on LeBron to be at his best. When he's not firing on all cylinders, the team struggles to find consistency. LeBron's struggles have also highlighted just how streaky basketball can be, especially when it comes to shooting. Let's take his 3-point shooting as an example. A player can shoot 2 for 8 from deep one night and then go 3 for 4 the next. Suddenly, their average looks respectable, even though the performances were wildly different. These fluctuations play out over the course of a season, and players who shoot in the 35 to 38% range from 3 often have weeks where they can't seem to hit anything, followed by stretches where they're on fire. It's just part of the game. The problem is that when LeBron hits a cold stretch, it feels like a bigger deal because of the expectations surrounding him. That being said, this isn't just about his shooting. LeBron's impact goes beyond scoring, and even during this rough patch, he's still finding ways to contribute. He's averaging nearly 9 assists per game, which shows he's still creating opportunities for his teammates. He's also pulling down over 8 rebounds per game, which is a big help on the boards. But even these areas haven't been perfect. His defense during this stretch has been inconsistent, and there have been moments where he's looked a step slower than usual. That's not surprising, given his age and the mileage on his body, but it's still something that's been noticeable. Another thing to consider is how small sample sizes can skew our perception. Over an 8-game stretch, a player's numbers can look worse than they really are if they hit a cold spell. For LeBron, all it would take is one hot week to completely change the narrative. Imagine he has a stretch where he averages 30 points on 55% shooting, including a couple of big nights from 3. Suddenly, his season averages look great again, and everyone forgets about this slump. That's just how the NBA works. Hot and cold stretches balance out over time, and for a player like LeBron, you expect the highs to outweigh the lows. It's also important to keep some perspective here. Even in a so-called bad stretch, LeBron is still doing things that most players can't. Averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists during a slump is a testament to just how special he is. There are players in the league who would give anything to put up those kinds of numbers, even in their prime. For LeBron, that's his floor. It's remarkable when you think about it. His ability to impact the game in so many ways, even when he's not at his best, is why he's considered one of the greatest players of all time. Despite this rough patch, I'm confident LeBron will turn things around. He's been through slumps before, and he's always found a way to bounce back. He's had highs and lows this season, but that's just part of the journey. What makes LeBron special is his ability to adapt, adjust, and come back stronger. Whether it's finding his rhythm with his shot, cutting down on turnovers, or tightening up on defense, he has the tools and the mindset to fix the issues we're seeing right now. When LeBron gets back to playing at the level we all know he's capable of, the Lakers will be in a much better position. This team has shown flashes of what they can be, and when their leader is firing on all cylinders, they're a tough matchup for anyone. So, while this stretch has been frustrating to watch, it's just a bump in the road for a player who's been nothing short of legendary throughout his career. LeBron's history tells us that he's not done yet, and I can't wait to see how he responds to this challenge. I mean, remember that triple-double stretch LeBron had this season? He still had some games where he looks like he's 25 years old. LeBron James is proving this season that age really is just a number. He's about to turn 40 in a few weeks, but he's still putting up numbers that most players in their prime would envy. Right now, LeBron's averaging 22 points, over 8 rebounds, and more than 9 assists per game. Those stats are impressive for any player, but when you realize he's doing this at his age, it's just incredible. The craziest part, his efficiency is still elite. He's shooting just under 50% from the field and a career-high 39% from three. That's better than his career average of 35%. Let's put this in perspective. LeBron's true shooting percentage is sitting at almost 60% this season, which is ridiculous considering he's about to hit 4 decades of life. When we talk about players aging, we usually expect them to slow down or take a back seat. But LeBron, he's leading the way. His assist numbers are especially eye-popping. He's averaging over 9 assists per game, which ranks 3rd in the entire league. Not just for veterans, not just for forwards, but 3rd in the entire NBA. That's insane. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The only other player in history who's even come close to doing what LeBron is doing at this age is Michael Jordan. When Jordan played at 40 years old, he averaged 22 points, 7 rebounds, and just over 3 assists per game. That's great. But LeBron has Jordan beat in rebounds and assists while matching his scoring, and these two legends will likely stand alone as the only players to ever average at least 20 points per game at the age of 40. The third closest, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who averaged just under 15 points per game at 40. That gap is massive, and it shows just how rare LeBron's longevity is. LeBron's rebounding deserves a shout out too. He's pulling down over 8 boards a game, which is remarkable when you think about all the mileage on his body. And it's not just about grabbing easy rebounds. He's still fighting for position and making an impact on both ends of the court. His ability to track the ball, read plays, and anticipate where it's going to bounce hasn't diminished at all. He's just as sharp as ever. And his playmaking, it's as good as it's ever been. The guy sees the court like nobody else. He's not just racking up assists by accident. These are precision passes that set his teammates up perfectly. Whether it's a no-look dime to a cutter, a lob for an easy finish, or a bullet pass to a shooter in the corner, LeBron's vision and execution are still at an elite level. His basketball IQ is unmatched, and it's a big reason why he's still dominating the game at this stage of his career. What's also worth noting is his improvement from beyond the arc. LeBron's hitting 39% of his threes this season. It's not like he's taking fewer shots from deep either. He's still confident and willing to let it fly when the opportunity presents itself. This added range has made him even harder to guard because defenders can't just sag off him anymore. If they do, he'll make them pay. When you compare LeBron's numbers to other all-time greats at this age, it's not even close. Jordan, Kareem, Malone, none of them were putting up this kind of production at 40. And it's not just the stats, it's the way he's doing it. LeBron is still playing heavy minutes, taking on a significant offensive load, and leading the Lakers through what's been a competitive season so far. Sure, he's had a few rough games recently, but even in those, he's finding ways to contribute. That's what separates him from everyone else, his ability to impact the game in so many different ways. Let's not forget the efficiency. Shooting just under 50% from the field while being the focal point of the offense is not easy. Defenses are constantly scheming to stop him, throwing double teams at him, and daring other players to beat them. But LeBron's still finding ways to score, create, and keep the Lakers in games. His ability to adapt and adjust as the game evolves is something we rarely see, especially from players this late in their careers. And it's not just about the offense. LeBron's still making plays on defense too. He might not be the lockdown defender he was in his Miami days, but he's still active, using his size and basketball IQ to disrupt plays. Whether it's getting a key block or rotating to help a teammate, he's making winning plays on that end of the floor. It's honestly mind-blowing to think about how LeBron's maintained this level of excellence for so long, and he's still one of the best players in the league. The wear and tear on his body should have caught up to him by now, but instead, he's still going strong. He's a once-in-a-generation athlete, and what he's doing this season only adds to his legacy. LeBron's career has always been about defying expectations, and this season is no different. People keep waiting for him to slow down, but he just keeps finding new ways to dominate, whether it's scoring, rebounding, passing, or just being the leader his team needs. He's doing it all. And while there's been a bit of a rough patch recently, it's clear that LeBron is still playing at an incredibly high level. If anything, this season proves that he's not done yet, and he's still got plenty left in the tank. Some of LeBron's advanced stats are crazy too. LeBron James's scoring advanced stats this season are absolutely ridiculous. Let's start with the basics. He's averaging 22.3 points per game. That alone puts him ahead of more than 93% of players in the league. Think about that. He's almost 40 years old and still outscoring the vast majority of guys out there. But what really stands out is how efficient he's been while doing it. His effective field goal percentage is 56.1%, which is better than 65% of players in the league. That's not just good, It's elite. Effective field goal percentage is no joke. It's one of the best ways to measure a player's shooting ability. It takes into account that 3-pointers are worth more than 2-pointers, so it paints a better picture of a player's scoring efficiency. For LeBron to be hitting at that rate while taking over 16 shots per game, that's impressive. It means he's making the most out of every opportunity. His points per field goal attempt are sitting at 1.1. That's crazy efficient, especially when you consider he's not just camping out under the rim for easy baskets. He's mixing it up with mid-range shots, threes, and drives to the hoop. Speaking of mixing it up, let's break down his shot profile. He's making 6.3 2-pointers per game and 2.1 3-pointers per game. That's 8 made buckets every night, and it's coming on 16.8 attempts. What I love about this is how balanced his game is. He's not relying on just one area of scoring. He's versatile, keeping defenses guessing, and it's clearly working. Now let's talk about true shooting percentage. This stat measures a player's overall scoring efficiency by including free throws, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers. LeBron's TS percent this season is 59.2%, which again puts him ahead of more than 65% of players in the league. That's just wild. This guy is almost 40 years old, and he's still scoring with the efficiency of a player in their prime. His points per scoring attempt are an incredible 1.2. That means every time he's taking a shot or getting to the line, he's making defenses pay. What really blows me away is how LeBron's free throws factor into his scoring efficiency. He's attempting 4.6 free throws per game, which isn't a massive number, but it's enough to keep defenders honest. The way he uses his size, strength, and basketball IQ to draw contact and get to the line is something you don't see from many players at this stage in their career. Every free throw he makes adds to his efficiency and keeps his true shooting percentage at an elite level. What's even more impressive is how he's maintaining this level of efficiency while being such a focal point of the offense. Defenses know they have to stop LeBron, yet he's still finding ways to score efficiently. His combination of skill, shot selection, and basketball IQ is unmatched. He's not forcing bad shots or taking low percentage looks. Instead, he's reading the defense, taking what they give him and capitalizing on every opportunity. That's what separates great players from all-time legends. LeBron's ability to balance volume and efficiency is something we just don't see very often. Most players either take a lot of shots and sacrifice efficiency, or they focus on efficiency and take fewer shots. But LeBron? He's doing both. He's scoring over 22 points a game while maintaining elite efficiency numbers across the board. That's not just rare, it's historic. When you look at these advanced stats, it's clear that LeBron is still one of the best scorers in the game. He's not just putting up numbers, he's doing it in a way that's incredibly efficient and impactful. At this point in his career, that's unheard of. Most players start to decline as they age, but LeBron is rewriting the rule book on what's possible for a player in their late 30s. LeBron's advanced stats this season are a testament to his work ethic, skill, and basketball IQ. He's not just surviving in the league, he's thriving. And when you break down the numbers, it's easy to see why. He's playing smarter, not harder, and it's paying off in a big way. These stats don't just tell the story of a great player, they tell the story of one of the greatest players to ever step on the court. And then his ball handling stats are even more crazy. LeBron James's ball handling advanced stats this season are absolutely unreal. Let's start with the most eye-popping number. His ball handling ability ranks in the 99th percentile among all players. That's right, he's better than 99% of the league. At nearly 40 years old, LeBron is still outclassing almost every guard and wing when it comes to handling the rock. His control, his decision-making, and the way he creates plays for others are on a completely different level. Now check this out. He's averaging 9.1 assists per game this season. That alone is impressive, but it gets even crazier when you dig deeper. His assist percentage, which measures how often he sets up teammates for buckets when he's on the floor, is a ridiculous 42.09%. That's better than 98% of players. Essentially, when LeBron is out there, almost half of his team's made shots are directly because of him. That's just absurd. His court vision and ability to read the defense are like a masterclass in playmaking. What's even wilder is the amount of points LeBron is directly responsible for through his assists. At 9.1 assists per game, he's generating 21.8 points per night for his teammates. Think about that for a second. Add that to the points he's scoring himself, and you've got a player who's impacting the scoreboard in ways most players can only dream of. It's like having an extra playmaker and scorer wrapped into one pack. But here's the kicker. LeBron is doing all this while keeping his turnover percentage ridiculously low. His turnover percentage is sitting at just 12.52%. That's the percentage of his plays that end in a turnover, and it's lower than 70% of players. Considering how much the ball is in his hands and how often he's tasked with making plays, that's nothing short of phenomenal. Most players with high usage rates see their turnovers climb, but not LeBron. He's still making the right decisions and protecting the ball like a seasoned veteran. To put it in perspective, he's averaging 4 turnovers per game, but when you look at how many scoring attempts he's creating, 18.8 per game, those turnovers barely make a dent in his overall impact. It's almost like he's operating with a built-in calculator, weighing the risks and rewards of every single move he makes. That level of precision is what makes him so dangerous, even at this stage in his career. LeBron's ability to combine volume, efficiency, and ball control is what really sets him apart. Most players who dominate the ball as much as he does either rack up turnovers or struggle to maintain efficiency, but LeBron's doing neither. He's threading the needle perfectly, night in and night out. That's a testament to his skill, experience, and understanding of the game. One thing I absolutely love about LeBron's ball handling stats is how they show his versatility. He's not just out there looking for his own shot, he's orchestrating the entire offense. Whether it's threading a pass through traffic, setting up teammates in the corner for threes, or hitting a cutter with pinpoint accuracy, LeBron is the engine that makes the team go. And he's doing it better than almost anyone in the league. These advanced stats don't just highlight how good LeBron is, they show how much better he is than nearly everyone else. 99th percentile in ball handling, 98th percentile in assist percentage, 12.52% turnover rate. These numbers aren't just impressive, they're historic. At this point, I'm not even sure how he's still doing it, but it's a privilege to watch. The way he controls the game with the ball in his hands is nothing short of legendary, and he can still rebound with the best of them too. LeBron James's rebounding stats this season are nothing short of spectacular. Let's dive right in. First off, LeBron is averaging 8.2 rebounds per game. That's better than 82% of all players in the league. For someone who's not a traditional big man, putting up numbers like that is just incredible. It shows how versatile and relentless he is, even after 2 decades in the NBA. Now, let's break it down further. On the defensive end, he's grabbing 7.4 defensive rebounds per game. That's where he really dominates. His defensive rebound percentage, basically the share of available defensive boards he's snagging when he's on the court, is a ridiculous 20.53%. That puts him ahead of 88% of players in the league. LeBron's timing, positioning, and basketball IQ make him a nightmare for opponents trying to crash the boards. What's even crazier is how often he's ending opponents' possessions single-handedly. Defensive rebounds might not be flashy, but they're critical for controlling the pace of the game. LeBron's ability to secure defensive boards and push the ball up the court is a massive advantage. He's not just cleaning the glass, he's turning defense into instant offense. On the offensive end, LeBron is averaging 0.8 offensive rebounds per game. While that might not sound huge compared to his defensive rebounding, it's still impressive considering his role. He's not camped out and under the basket like a traditional center. He's grabbing offensive boards while running the floor, setting up plays, or even spacing out for jumpers. His offensive rebound percentage at 2.4% puts him ahead of 32% of players. That means he's finding ways to impact the game even when he's not near the rim. LeBron's rebounding isn't just about raw numbers though. It's about how he uses those rebounds to make plays. When he grabs a defensive rebound, it's like flipping a switch. He can instantly survey the floor, find an open teammate, or drive coast to coast himself. That kind of versatility is what separates him from everyone else. Most players either rebound or create plays. LeBron does both seamlessly. Another thing I love about his rebounding is how consistent he is. You don't see him taking plays off. He's boxing out, fighting for position, and going after every loose ball. That kind of effort, especially at his age, is what makes him so special. He's outworking guys who are 10 or even 15 years younger than him. It's unreal. LeBron's rebounding also speaks to his leadership on the court. When the team needs someone to step up and secure a crucial board, he's the guy who gets it done. Those rebounds set the tone for the rest of the team. They let the defense reset and give the offense a chance to strike quickly. That's why he's so valuable. He's always thinking 2 steps ahead. What blows me away the most is how these stats reflect his overall impact. 8.2 rebounds per game, a 20.53 defensive rebound percentage, and grabbing offensive boards while playing a perimeter-heavy role. Those numbers highlight how well-rounded he is. He's affecting the game on both ends of the floor, not just with his scoring or playmaking, but by controlling the glass. LeBron's rebounding stats this season are another reminder of why he's one of the greatest players of all time. Whether it's outjumping a big man, outsmarting opponents for positioning, or turning a rebound into a fast break, he's showing us that age is just a number. These numbers don't lie. He's still one of the most dominant forces in the game. Overall, though, the Lakers' success has always revolved around LeBron James playing at an elite level, and when he doesn't have a standout game, the impact on the team is obvious. But let's be real, it makes complete sense. LeBron is almost 40 years old, and the fact that he's still performing at such a high level is incredible in itself. Most players at this age are either long retired or far past their prime, but LeBron, he's still out there leading his team, putting up numbers, and handling the pressure like it's nothing. What he's doing this late in his career is genuinely one of the most impressive things in basketball history. That said, when LeBron isn't at his best, the Lakers have trouble finding that same rhythm, and that's where the rest of the team needs to step up. This is where players like Anthony Davis, Dalton Knecht, and Austin Reeves come into the picture. Davis has already proven he's capable of being a dominant force on both ends of the court. When he's fully engaged, Davis is one of the most impactful players in the league. If he can consistently bring that level of play, especially during games when LeBron is struggling, it would be a massive boost for the Lakers. Davis has the ability to take over games, whether it's protecting the rim, cleaning up the glass, or scoring in the post. That kind of dominance can help stabilize the team when things aren't going smoothly. And then there's Dalton Knecht. While he's still finding his footing in the league, his shooting ability and energy off the bench could be exactly what the Lakers need in those tougher moments. When LeBron isn't hitting his usual stride, having someone like Knecht knock down shots and inject some energy into the game can make all the difference. The Lakers need that reliable spark, and Knecht has shown flashes that he could be the guy to provide it. Let's not forget Austin Reeves, who's been a bright spot for the team in so many ways. He's already proven he can be a reliable secondary playmaker, and his versatility has been a huge asset. Reeves isn't just about scoring. He finds ways to impact the game through smart plays, hustle, and creativity. If he continues to grow and builds on his ability to step up in key moments, it'll ease a lot of the burden LeBron carries. On nights when LeBron's shot isn't falling or he's not as aggressive, Reeves has the potential to step into a bigger role and keep the offense running smoothly. Still, even with the team needing more consistency from the supporting cast, I'm confident LeBron can turn things around. He's done it so many times in his career, and I've got no doubt he'll do it again. A rough stretch is just that, a stretch. LeBron's track record speaks for itself, and if there's anyone who can bounce back and keep delivering at a high level, it's him. The fact that he's still carrying this much of the load for the Lakers is astounding. Most players would have hung it up by now, but LeBron keeps proving why he's one of the greatest to ever play the game. What's clear, though, is that when LeBron does have an off night, the Lakers need the rest of the team to pick up the slack. Davis, Knecht, and Reeves all have the tools to do just that. If they can step into bigger roles when needed and have those big games, it'll take so much pressure off LeBron. It'll also make the Lakers a more balanced and dangerous team overall. Even though things have been a bit up and down lately, I'm excited to see how they respond. With LeBron's leadership and the potential of his supporting cast, the Lakers have the pieces to make it work. It's just a matter of everyone stepping up when the moment calls for it.